Welcome back, folks. After a bit of a hiatus there, I want to say we're a couple weeks overdue here. I apologize for that delay. Time schedules just didn't happen to sync up at the time when you got three different people trying to put together this show. But finally here back for you. A couple weeks to recap here. We'll, of course, start off with the current standings of the league we are currently in, FFA. With the current standings, myself, your host here, 4th place currently. Co-host Mikey, 3rd place.
Thank you.
Couple interesting things to note. Currently, there are 2 teams that are 0-2. Of those 2 teams that are 0-2, they had the 1st and 2nd picks in the draft. Kind of interesting to note there.
Which in a 2-quarterback league, you would think, they're having the chance to draft the top 2 quarterbacks, and thus far it hasn't really worked out for them.
It has not. 0-2 is not a good way to start. And if you remember everything they say about NFL, I think, what was it, like less than 5% of teams that start off 0-2 actually make the playoffs?
It might be a little higher than that, but it's not very good.
It isn't very good. But what is very good are the teams that are 2-0. 2 teams in the league are 2-0. Another funny factoid about those teams, one of them being Rays, Midwest Lone Wolves, I believe is the team name there. Did not understand fully the keeper rules. Ended up missing out on being able to keep Alfred Morris in like the 5th or 6th round.
And arguably had the most questionable keepers of the draft.
With Ben Tate and
Andy Dalton.
And Andy Dalton there. And currently leads the league. He's number 1 right now. Followed him right behind, also 2-0, Chris Tomaselli. Wasn't even at the draft.
Nope.
Wasn't even at the draft. Had the 11th pick. Currently holding down the 2nd spot in the league.
Yep.
So that's just to give you a little picture of where we are currently in FFA coming up on week 3 now.
And kind of going off of these standings, which I think we're all willing to admit are a bit surprising, I have to make one mention. I did post in the league board
You did?
very early on that I didn't think one BP Spillers, who has since changed his team name to Natural Born Spillers, quite like that, I said no one would beat him. And he suffered a defeat.
In week 1. In week 1.
First week of the season. So,
Yes.
Doug Darling, if you're watching right now, and I'm assuming you are, I owe you this, my friend. Next time I see you, I'm a man of my word.
Freshly printed $5 bill.
$5. I just printed it in my van about an
printed.
hour and a half ago.
Ink is still drying.
Speaking on early things that have happened here in the season, I'm sure everybody heard earlier this week, one of the most blockbuster trades of this century. The Cleveland Browns moved up in the draft last year to draft Trent Richardson. They traded him away for a first-round pick in next year's draft to the Indianapolis Colts. This caught everyone by surprise, left many people speechless, scratching their heads.
People scrambling to pick up who's going to be the guy that takes his place. Is it going to be McGahee? Is it going to be Ogbanaya? Is it going to be Bobby Rainey? I mean, you have to assume it's going to be Willis McGahee, but he's getting kind of old and he wasn't in the league.
Yeah, he will be turning 32 in October, but the guy was a former first-round pick. He's a proven player. He's been to the Pro Bowl before, so they're going to give him the best shot, but if he can't cut it, I think they're willing to go to Bobby Rainey, who was a rookie last year with the Ravens and actually had a pretty good preseason.
Yeah, not too bad. And I've heard Ogbanaya's name throughout the season here so far. A couple of catches here and there. I know he's a better pass-catching option than Bobby Rainey is.
Yep.
Anybody who has a weak running back core right now, do what you can to try and get Willis McGahee, though. I mean, you got to assume that he's going to be the number 1 coming out of the blocks there. He's proven some talent in the past. He's going to be a number 1 on a team. Granted, it'll be Cleveland, who I don't think will get more than 3 wins this season now.
And
what are you going to do?
Unfortunately for this league, I happened to pick up Willis McGahee. I heard that announcement probably before any of you did, since I'm a nerd and listen to Fantasy Sports Radio on Sirius XM Channel 210.
Yes.
Moving on from that, and of course, BP Spillers, I know you're the one hurting. You drafted Ahmad Bradshaw. Sorry for you, buddy. He's going to have a backup role the rest of the year.
Pretty much.
But going back to some of the notable things that happened here in the first 2 weeks, there have been just a few notable injuries. Shane Vereen being the first one to go down. He fractured his wrist. My keeper.
Your keeper.
That hurt. I actually have him in another league as well. He's not going to be eligible to come back until week 11. But that'll be nice. It's going to be right in time for the playoffs. So I'm stashing him in any league that I own him.
Oh, you should keep him. Yeah, regardless.
He might even be a keeper for next year.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that he can't provide for your team right now.
Absolutely. Vic Ballard, who was arguably the number one for the Colts, him and Bradshaw were kind of in a timeshare. He's out for the season now. So that elevated Bradshaw's value for a moment, just to see it get dwindled right back down.
Yes,
and
a moment. Not even a week.
Not even a week. Nope, did not get to enjoy that. And finally, Danny Amendola, shocking.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Going back to the trade that was made 5 minutes after the close of the draft between Roy and James Jones?
BP
Spillers, or natural-born Spillers.
Yes.
Who ended up trading... I believe Roy traded Vjax for his keeper Amendola in the 13th round. So obviously he'll get great value for him next year.
Unfortunately,
but right now,
it might not matter till next year.
He's out 3 to 4 weeks already. I mean,
you never know with Danny Amendola.
Great player. Just I don't know if he's too much of an injury concern.
Yep.
Too much of an injury concern.
Absolutely, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. Thankfully, there's only been a handful of injuries this year so far. So we'll hope that all our good players stay healthy for the remainder of the season. And now we have time for a short announcement.
Right now, you should be seeing pictures of Mikey enjoying himself in a pink tank top. These are the consequences of making a bet due to hubris. Mikey bet me last week that Oakland Raiders defense and Terrell Pryor would not contribute to beat him in our head-to-head matchup.
Which they didn't.
No, they didn't, but the rest of my team did. Please enjoy.
As your resident fantasy guru, I'm here to tell you a couple of things that you probably knew going into this season. The quarterbacks are scoring at a ridiculous rate. We knew this would be a pass-heavy league. That's a trend that we've seen here in the NFL over the last few years. But I don't think we knew quite how much of an impact it would have. In the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, quarterbacks have been throwing more touchdown passes than any 2 weeks to open a season in NFL history. So what does that mean? It means the value of the quarterbacks, even your tier 2 and 3 quarterbacks, has increased. It means the same thing for wide receivers. Your tier 2, tier 3, even your wide receiver 4s are showing to have some value. On the flip side of that coin, running backs, specifically solid running backs that you can trust week in and week out, are becoming more and more scarce. Besides the injuries that we've already seen this year, we're starting to see timeshares in multiple backfields. Most notably, the Jets, the Giants, who knows who's running the ball in Jacksonville, and the Saints backfield, Thomas, Sproles, Ingram. You see what I'm getting at here. Your stud running backs are hard to come by. And the rookie running backs this year, thus far, are not proving to be anything like the running backs of the rookie class of 2012. So hopefully, throughout the season, you're making the right adjustments, you're paying attention to the waiver wire, and most importantly, handcuff your stud running backs. Those guys tend to get beat up more than any other position. You're going to need to focus on that going forward if you want to be contending in December.
Notes on the league itself. One of the biggest things I want to talk about here, and I think you can comment on as well, trading. Now that we are in our third week, I know that teams are looking to trade. Everybody can improve somewhere on that team. Please, 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 when making these trades, be a bit more active with it. Set up your trading blocks. Give people a chance to know who you are willing to part with on your team, who you may be interested on their team. It kind of makes people scared to trade when you're offering trades that are essentially screw you trades, something that benefits you and doesn't benefit the other team. Why would they want to counter with something if you're not even willing to work with them on the first go around?
Yep.
So just a note there, some trading 101 for you. Let's negotiate, let's offer counters, let's set up those trading blocks, boys. It makes it a lot easier.
To add on that, just an important note, I hear this all the time on the radio show I listen to. People will call in and they'll say, hey, what do you think about trading Larry Fitzgerald for Frank Gore? That means nothing, absolutely nothing, without knowing your team's depth, the other team's depth, what they need, what you need. So be mindful of that when making your trades, and I think, like Lou said, updating your trading blocks will help. So please get on that.
Yes, we'll go a long way. Aside from that, I see half the league is pretty active on the message boards, as we should be. That's half the fun of playing fantasy sports.
Talking a little smack.
We've got polls on there. Answer the questions. Have no idea why 11 out of 12 people answered the last question. Who was the last person?
Who are you,
Where
number
were
12?
You? Did it really take you that long to take 2 seconds to click a little section on the homepage there?
It's embarrassing.
It is.
People need to man up
It really is.
and talk.
This is a keeper league. We're in it for the long haul. Let's talk some shit.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you for watching the show. A big thank you to all of our sponsors, of course, Workout Music, for letting us use their music for our intro and scattered throughout the show. Please visit them on their Facebook website, facebook.com/workoutmusic. They're constantly doing shows, constantly putting together little tour buses from the heights. Get on it, listen to their music, go enjoy the show. Also, Homewood FB. Check out homewoodfb.com. And, of course, the production company that brings this to you, Funny Guys Media. You should already know about them. You're on their page right now. And finally, of course, thank you to our newest sponsor and my good friend John Foley and his company, True Barbecue. Check out them on Facebook. You will be able to see different sauces, rubs, purchase from him, show you the art of barbecue. Recently, he participated in the 2013 Windy City Barbecue Classic, in which his ribs took 6th place. He took 8th place overall out of 30 teams, but I'll guarantee you once you try it, it will be number 1 in your heart.
Action.
Well, this was fun.
It was.
We
It
should
was.
do this again sometime.
I agree. Maybe it shouldn't take a month next time to come out with the second episode.
I'd like to do one before then.
Yes,
How about next week?
I like it.
Yeah?
See you guys then.
So honey, hide your eyes behind those big black sunglasses, and I'll remind you that you're not worth the plastic on your